Good morning. Welcome. Today I'm going to teach you the 4 tasks of systems thinking. But before I do that, let me define form, let me define function. So form, what is the structure? How is it visually mapped out? How is it aligned? How is it connected? And then 2, the functions. Function is a reproducible step. It is the steps that occur in the sequence of the system. And now what we're building is a deep research agent. So let's take that as our example. So we're identifying first the form and the function. Well, its form is a web interface with databases and different places that it's reaching out to find information and aggregate the information. And then its function is to deliver insights to the user, to deliver a wonderful user experience. Okay, so now that we've done step 1, we've identified the form, we've identified the function, let's go to step 2. Let's break down the form and let's break down the function into its subcomponents. So if I break down the form of it, it's buttons in a web interface and text that guides the user to understand what it is, and then also different databases and different search tools that are going out and pulling information. Okay, now let's break down the functions. So what's happening? We're taking in user input, then we might want to clarify the user input with an LLM, and then we go out and actually assign different questions to different sub-agents, and we collect the information and see how all of these are steps. And then at the end, we might have a judge LLM that judges the quality of everything, all the information that was aggregated, and composes it into something very nice. And so we've broken down the functions and we've broken down the form. And now what we want to do is we want to identify the connections between the form and between the functions. And so that's an interesting thing, because we start to identify, okay, how is my button visually connected to the text that tells the user how to use that button so that they can use it wisely and use it in the way that we want to create a wonderful experience. And then we also start to think about, okay, how is my database connected to the tool that's going out and pulling information from the web? And then we start to think about, okay, how are my functions connected? How are the steps connected? In what sequence are they going? Are there branches? Are there conditions? How is the flow designed in the way that we want so that we can make the agent effective? And finally, step 4 is emergence. That is the brilliance of the system. That is the user experience. And sometimes we want to start from the emergence when we are imagining our systems, because we started with, hey, I want to create an agent that creates wonderful insights for users by processing vast amounts of information. And so those are the 4 steps of systems thinking. So number 1 is identify the form and its functions, the main ones. Number 2 is break down the form, break down the functions. Number 3 is understand the connections between the forms, understand the connections between the functions, the control flows. And step 4 is the brilliant emergence, the user experience, the deep research agent, or the system that tracks nature and helps us gain insight from what's happening in the forest, or the system that goes out and helps people improve their minds, or the system that goes out and helps people get to from one place to another, like an autonomous car. There are so many systems that we can design, so many cool things we can do on this planet. Follow for more, subscribe. This is day 6 out of my 30-day YouTube challenge. Hope you enjoyed.